Okay. Here we go. Hello. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself? TGIF, you know?
TGIF. Indeed. Indeedly. Never say that, but I wanted to. Feeling bold today. You know? Not really. It's just to cover the crippling depression, but
Heard.
Hello, my friend, and hello to all of you watching our live stream today. Sorry that we started a little late. I was on a phone call and it just took an eternity. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome to our live stream chat. If you're a first-time listener to our live stream, this is the unstructured, off-the-wall, off-the-rails, let's see where this conversation goes, also known as a typical video from us.
That's right.
So
that's right. Unfiltered.
My friend, what are you up to today? How's your day going?
It's going okay. Like I said, it's Friday. I haven't. We're going to a concert tonight at the AMP.
What are you seeing or listening?
Brooks and Dunn, which I'm not a big country guy. I got just roped into this because Ashley and other people like country, so got that going. So trying to get work done before that, and I have not been successful in that regard. So it's been a chill Friday. I haven't done much, but that's kind of a bad thing.
So just curious, you and Ashley have been together a long time, several years. When you guys have a situation like this, is there like an understood like give and take, or do you guys actually, because sometimes Joy and I, we actually like work out like, all right, if you're going to do this, then I'm going to play Diablo all day.
Yeah.
So,
like a barter system.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go to this concert.
Yeah. And that probably sounds like, people listening, that probably sounds like,
I know what you mean.
How dare you? Why wouldn't you just want to, but functionally you're living with someone and you're doing life with someone. And, sometimes you gotta just make sure it's equitable. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's all about compromise, baby.
Yeah, dude. So
in this particular case, no, but like, of course, we've done stuff like that. Like, okay, like we'll go to the farmer's market. I mean, I like going to the farmer's market, so that's not a good example. But yeah, like we totally
I don't dislike going to the farmer's market. I like going, but going to the farmer's market, I feel like you do your loop, and then you're like, so.
Yeah. When we getting out of here?
Yeah, we're good now, right? And I feel like Joy feels like it's like typically she's like, let's do another loop, and I'm like, you've seen it all. There's not gonna be like a hidden booth that pops up and we're like, whoa, where did you come from? But I think it's because like we made the loop in like 8 minutes, and it's like we got the kids in the car, so not that they're waiting in the car. We got the kids back there. I mean, like we went through the struggle of getting them in the car, bringing them. Oh, my wife's watching. Oh no, my wife is on the stream. Oh no. Oh no. Abort. Let's go to the end. I only say the best things.
That's right.
About. It's a rare Joy sighting in the stream there. So
yeah.
Anyway,
what's up, Joy?
Hello, Joy. Checking out.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, checking out our chat. Hello, Barb and Larissa, two of our amazing. This is gonna sound really bad. I was gonna say our amazing hot ones, but that would sound really inappropriate. It's two people. Will's voice is kind of low. Let me turn you up just a little bit, Will. I don't know why you're a little quiet. See if that sounds good, by the way, Barb.
Test.
But in our one shot, two of our Tomb of the Warlord players, and the group came to be known as the Hot Ones.
Yeah,
but
that was our party name.
Can't just throw that out without getting some unsubscribes. So
yeah.
Anyway, we got Eric in the chat. Always great to see you. And we have Raina McGurbs in the chat. Great to see you as well. I hope everyone is doing well today. I'm kind of sad we don't have our Thai friend in the chat today.
Maybe maybe film is lurking. You know,
Yeah, Phil might
you
be
never know.
lurking. That's right.
Also, I've said it once, I'll say it again, but every time you call Glim Eric, it just I'm too like it's too ingrained as Glim for me. And
Okay,
I
so
think we talked about this once, but I
you.
hope I'm pronouncing that
Well, I
right.
was gonna say you pronounce it as Glim. I pronounce it as Glimmy.
Mm.
So Glimmy, let him know the mistake he's making.
I I hope not, because we're talking like years of mispronouncing it in that case.
It's too funny. Okay, so we actually have a lot to talk about today. There's a
We
lot to
do.
talk about, a lot to discuss. First things first, little CR news. That sounded ominous. I didn't mean it ominously.
I meant because he responded and said how'd Blake know? So I don't know if he's joking or not, but that's what my was.
We're
in
doing a
reference to.
bit against Will. No, CR news, the launch of Beacon looks pretty good. I was very nervous at the first announcement because of the Watcher TV stuff. Very nervous, but after I watched the video, I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with it, and I could see people that were like nervous, like you said, and I think I haven't really been like I haven't gone looking for the reaction to that announcement, so I don't know if there's been a lot of people that have been upset, but I think it's fundamentally different than the whole Watcher fiasco.
It is.
I think it's just unfortunate that just happened and is kind of at the forefront of the zeitgeist for like people to make that comparison to.
The timing could have been better, but I think everything was handled really well. The PR around it was really good. I just thought the whole announcement, I think, went as best as they could want it to. And honestly, the Critical Role cooldown alone sounds like jumping into stream last night after the watch party and watching a little bit of that live stream.
I didn't know if you were in there or not, but I did that too.
That was fun. I think Gaius hosted that for us. That was so fun. It was really cool just to see just like the chatter and honestly, like there was just some really cool it's cool. I think someone mentioned something in our Discord about like a reaction. There were two things that came up, but like the nuance that you get that you don't get somewhere else. Like the example that was mentioned in the Discord was, I guess, in the Critical Role cooldown after episode 91, I think it was maybe 91, Orum's wish to Mori to save them, that I guess it was confirmed that is in fact what happened with the with the
Weave Mind?
The Weave Mind. That it was like confirmed that like Orum, I think him and I almost said Adam. Who is Adam? Him and Matt. Maybe there was like a back and forth or something, but like that kind of nuance is you don't get that anywhere else. So it's kind of a really cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, 100% agreed. The cooldowns seem worth the price of admission for diehard fans at least, because I mean I think that's like, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but I think like that is what people love Critical Role for. Just kind of the organic, like getting to watch friends play D&D, and nothing is more quintessential than the immediate conversation after a session ends of like everybody being like, "Oh man, what a session! Like, what did you think about this?" Like, so I think it's awesome to get like access to that for the first time. So
and then this isn't exactly what it is, but the fireside chats reminds me of the Worlds Beyond fireside chats, and a little bit more direct than Four-Sided Dive in terms of like direct in terms of exchanging with the listeners, because I know they're going to do FAQs, and it also I don't think Matt's going to necessarily do this, but it reminds me of like their old series. They had like the Between the Sheets, and then Matt had like a DM how to like do a DM session series or whatever too.
Handbook or Helper or whatever.
Yeah. I could totally see that kind of content on here as well, and it's frankly content that I've really missed. I really enjoyed looking through. So
yeah, me too. I watched the cooldown last night thanks to Gaius, but I haven't seen anything else on there. Are there already fireside chats, for lack of a better word, on there?
I don't think so. I'm not a member of it. I do want to do a giveaway for our listeners. I want
Yeah, we
to
should.
do a giveaway. I think when it's a little bit easier financially for both of us, I think it would be a great idea for a giveaway for you guys. That's not to say don't go ahead and subscribe. It's not to say wait for us to do that. But I think this is a perfect idea for a giveaway for us in the future. Having said that, I have personally not subscribed yet, but it does look really good. Sakura says in chat, I'm already a Beacon member. I really like it this far. So far, I like the after show. It's an extra 10 minutes of them unloading the last episode. And something else that came out in chat too in our Discord was someone was saying, looking through the cooldowns, how fun it is to see like how much these people love D&D. And I'm mentioning this, Will, because, and I know you and I are on the same page, but the person in Discord, I'm sorry I can't quote you because I was scrolling through my phone this morning before going into a meeting, so I didn't fully read the person, but the person was basically saying, this is really nice because it dispels the rumors that the players are like bored and sort of like held prisoner. We have to do Critical Role, like the weird narratives people come up with. But like seeing them so energized and excited it's fun. It's sweet.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I haven't signed up either, but I'm planning to. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think the watcher comparison's not fair. I think it's more, and it's not like Dropout, but I think that's more of what they're going for. Which, not to switch subjects, but did you see Dropout's going to start having like stand-up comedy specials?
No, I didn't.
I thought that was a great idea.
Dropout's
they've been killing it over there.
Dropout's a really good example of a platform where like there is just so much endless content.
Yeah.
Then when you think about the investment, it's like, yeah, I mean, even if you only do this one narrow thing like Dimension 20, you're already getting an enormous amount of value. So
yeah, for sure. And the good thing about Critical Role is they're not removing their stuff other places.
Totally.
Well, so I don't really see. I mean, there's always room for criticism, I guess, but I just don't think it's at all comparable to the Watcher thing. If people are like, don't get it if you don't want to, you can still watch Critical Role.
Yeah, I think what frustrated people about Watcher was it felt like a money grab because they were taking their content away, and you couldn't get the access without paying for the subscription. In this case, Critical Role is keeping it on YouTube and Patreon. Or not Patreon, YouTube and Twitch, excuse me.
Yeah.
And they mentioned like a very, I'm probably not really saying anything that insightful, but they're mentioning like a very basic concept in business, which is it's always to your advantage to have as direct an access to your customers, to your tribe as possible. And they mentioned it a couple of times, like, hey, our access right now is beholden to Twitch and YouTube. And, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we would say this would never happen. But I have a really good friend of mine who was crazy active on Twitter, who was like, I was talking to him on the phone last week, and he was like, dude, it sucks. Like, that whole business is basically in the tank because Twitter has changed so significantly in the last year. So I think it's fair for Critical Role to say like, hey, yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're going to stay there. But it's not a good business decision for us to stay beholden to those corporations rather than having direct access to our people. So
yeah, I mean, totally. And they have more freedom to do what they want and will make more money, right? Because I mean, let's be real. At the end of the day, that does matter. So I'm not saying that wasn't like a factor, but just especially if you consider somebody giving $5 for their Twitch subscription, Critical Role seeing probably more than half of that, considering they're like such a big deal. But typically people get like half of that. So now they're going to be getting 100% of a Beacon subscription. So like they can keep making more stuff. So yeah, I think it just makes sense on like every level, really.
It's a great decision. Yeah. All right, cool. So moving right along, just catching up on a couple of these messages. Carrie said, Marisha also teased an eventual return of Narrative Telephone in the Beacon Discord. My group said, no fireside chats in there yet, but there's going to be a monthly interview with one of the cast doing a Q&A. It looks like May, I saw the date in here somewhere. Someone said, T. James said the first fireside chat is planned for May 21st. So yeah, a lot of good added details there.
Is the and we can talk about this in the Discord after, but those of you that I'm curious, like, how that is. The Discord pretty organized? Like, I'm curious. I mean, I'll find out eventually, but I was just curious, like, what they were aiming to do with that. Like, if there are, channels for the live watch, channels for the Q&A, just, maybe this isn't the time, but I am curious.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
CR Abridged is going to be on there. Someone on the Discord was talking about their experience, and they said it was really good, that it was like the combat flows so fast. I loved, this is the perfect example, not to dunk on Ashley Johnson, but only because everyone at the table last night was like I think Laura Bailey was like, Ashley, come on. Like, what are you doing? A lot of like the nuance and like figuring out like can kind of slow down combat. I love it all. But some of the more, longer gaps, apparently in CR Bridge, like combat's very quick and flows a bit faster. But I know personally, I think they said they only have C3 in there. I would love for C1 and C2. I know it would be probably nonsensical from a business perspective, but if I could do CR Abridged for C1 and C2, that would be something I'd really enjoy.
Is it like an episode by episode thing? Like CR Abridged episode 82, or is it like CR Abridged, here's what happened in 1 to 50?
I actually don't know. The impression was the former for me, but okay. Barb says they just dropped CR Abridged on YouTube. So let's actually see here what it is. CR Abridged. Yeah. Okay. They
only had 3 mods. They probably learned that lesson pretty quick.
It's per episode though. So episode 1 is an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, they cut a lot of content.
Yeah. I mean, I bet they will do campaign 1 and 2.
I mean, it'd be great if they did.
Honestly, I mean, it might take a long time, but I think they would.
Yeah, they cut 2.5 hours from the video. So
this isn't trying to decide how to best say this. It's not really a complaint about Beacon, but I don't know. It's not really a criticism because I understand why they don't, but just one thing that makes me sad, I guess, is with Critical Role expanding in the way they are, launching Beacon, potentially making a lot of money to be able to do more things. It just saddens me that happens whilst also like these pillars of the CR community are shutting down. Now, it's not CR's responsibility to like hire these people or anything, but in a perfect world, for example, the reason I thought about this is because CR Bridge reminds me so much of Marisha Raygun's content. Are you familiar?
Mm-hmm.
And they just recently said they can't do it anymore. And like, they've never made like ad revenue from those videos. And like, how long like editing takes. And so like, I just wish in a perfect world, like they launched this new service. Like I wish they could have like hired them or, the people that ran Crit Roll Stats that had to shut down. I just wish that like, and again, it's not a perfect solution. It's not Critical Role's responsibility, but that's like the one kind of, I don't know. So I don't even really know how to like, condense this into a thought really, but
let's just take it from the perspective of like 2 random dudes who like, what do we know about how any of this works? If it was me, like Marisha Raygun, like has instead of just saying has such an incredible following. It just feels like it's to your advantage to even just be like, hey, because I watched one of her videos. I didn't see her announcement video, but this came up also previously for her, maybe like 6 months ago or so. And what she was saying was like, hey, I want to do this, but it's just like not financially, it's not doable for my time. So like, if I'm part of, again, what the heck do I know? But like, if I'm running CR, I'm thinking like, here's someone who loves my content, loves it, is so diehard. They spend hours. I mean, look at us, right? We're spending hours per week on this thing that we make no money from. I mean, we make a little bit of money, not much at all, from like ad revenue, but it's no money really. So reaching out to that person and saying, and same thing with crit roll stats. Crit roll stats, I love that you use the word pillar. It is a pillar. It was a pillar, such a core piece of, and just a fun resource. Reaching out and saying, hey, what would it, we don't want to, this is not to like make you wealthy. Let's be very candid. We love what you're doing. We don't have maybe the resources to, you know, you're going to become a millionaire. But like, what would it take for you to feel like this is worth your time? Is it $500 a month? Is it $1,000 a month? Which might seem like a lot. It's not a lot, especially not a lot for any large corporation or organization. But to reinvest in the community, like to harness that, and then what I have personally found is people are so enamored by the content you're doing that it doesn't actually cost $1,000. It costs more like $250 because it's they feel like they're being appreciated. They feel like, it's not, I don't want to get into like, obviously pay people what they're worth, but point being, I think it'd be less expensive than maybe we would think for someone to feel motivated to keep doing it. We're on the same page though. I mean,
it's very complicated. And again, it's not Critical Role's responsibility by any means, but just in a perfect world with this growth and all these things, like it would be nice if some of those, it sucks to see those like pillars have to stop. And I think, honestly, a large part that maybe informs something like this is the whole Brian W. Foster scenario. I'm sure they're just very, very weary about bringing anyone into the fold, much less like a random internet person that they like don't know at all. But
I think what's tough is Critical Role started like very much at our dining room table, like we're all a family. Even the fans, like you can directly, reach out. And like I remember emailing Robbie Damon after EXU, and he responded to me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Just like showing my wife, he responded.
I don't think you told me this. What are you talking about?
I emailed Robbie Damon as soon as EXU ended, and I was just like, "Hey, random dude here. I just want you to know my wife and I absolutely love you. You're incredible. You were so great at the table, and that's it." I was very, because I didn't want to be like, and hey, can you do anything for me? I just was very like, yep, we just want to say thank you. And he responded and was like, yeah, thank you for that. That really means a lot. I appreciate you. Something very short and concise. It was probably like a publicist or something. What do I know? But
no, that's all. I can't believe you didn't share that before now. But
I thought I did share that, but I guess
maybe you didn't. I forgot.
It was a few years ago, whenever EXU was. But anyway, it was nice that he responded, and I feel like that was kind of the vibe of the early days of CR, to the point where they were taken advantage of. Specifically, I'm thinking of that one story, which if you guys aren't familiar with this story early on, where somebody, and this is gonna be like a very generic explanation of it, someone offered advice to someone on the CR team. The CR team member, cast member, was trying to be polite and was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you. And then the person basically turned around and was like, hey, you, not only do you owe me money, but they also shared that CR like wasn't paying like for other people's work, or like wasn't paying for like the work, the service being done for them. It was like this big thing. And then it basically came out that there was no like exchange of goods or services. It was basically a fan who had flipped this thing where a cast member was like just trying to be kind and listen to the person or what have you. So, so I get them being wary of it, like you said.
Yeah.
But like another great example this reminds me of, have you followed the Chick-fil-A girl who got fired by Chick-fil-A?
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Do you know the guy who does the Papa John's pizza, that social media account?
I think the guy, this like a young guy that is just making the pizzas.
Yeah.
There's two of those dudes. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know. I just found out there's a second one. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I got so confused because like those dudes are all in my algorithm, and I'm like, and they were in one together, and I was like, what's happening?
Yes. Okay, so here's the Chick-fil-A thing. Okay. Chick-fil-A had an employee who started doing social media, like reviews of the food. And as can often happen in these situations, this girl went viral. People really, there was something about her, just like the Papa John's guy. There's just something about them that people really liked. She goes viral. Yeah. Chick-fil-A comes back and says, stop doing that because it opens us up too much to like whatever corporate speak you want to use. Liability, but what are you ultimately liable for? You know, whatever. So they say, stop doing that. So she does a video saying she's going to shut down the channel. People like really took up for her, and either she quit or she got fired. I'm not sure which one happened, but point being, I walked away from that situation feeling like what a huge miss from Chick-fil-A, because like if it's me to this young girl, I'm like, hey, love it, thank you. What can I do to support you, to assist you?
Right.
The next big Chick-fil-A product I'm doing, I don't know how much these companies like iterate their menu, but the next big thing, I'm going to her and saying, hey, would you like help us like present this or market it or whatever?
Yeah.
But they shot themselves in the foot. And
go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, get her like a contract, like get to protect yourself as the organization, like do that, sure. But like you're saying, they blew it, you know?
It's just stupid. It's stupid. And in the same way, a little bit apples to oranges with Critical Role. But like when you have a pillar like Marisha Reagan, you have a pillar like Crit Roll Stats, I'm like, man, you got to realize how important those things are. Those are like organic pieces of your culture and of your brand that do so much for your brand. Like, even though it's not a Critical Role branded thing, it does so much for your brand. So you gotta support these things. You gotta invest in these things.
Yeah.
So again, what the heck do I know, right? So,
and I mean, for all we know, maybe they reached out, like, you know.
True. Yeah.
And you know, so but yeah, dude, that the Papa John's guy, literally, I got Papa John's for like the first time in 10 years, like 2 weeks ago. And it's because I was like watching those dude's videos and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try Papa John's again. So
I feel entirely the same way, bro. I was the same. Mine ended up not being good, but that's besides the point.
It wasn't that good either.
You know, depends on the location.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just love that you brought that up, but I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad about, I hate seeing those like pillars go away. So
yeah, I mean, not to talk even longer about it, but I wish she just would have opened a Patreon or something. Like, I think she would have had the support.
I think, yeah. And you know, it's tough because I think it's really admirable she didn't do a Patreon, but yeah, you kind of wish she had. It's a weird line to walk. Like, our world is so over monetized. Everything is so over monetized that I think, I do not know. Here's for clarity for everyone listening. We do not know Marisha Reagan. I've never talked to her. So I know nothing about her, but I know in general, people are just so honest and have so much integrity. And those are really great qualities that they're very averse to monetizing people. And I think it's like for Will and I, there was a point, we've done the channel for forever now, but we were like very strictly not monetizing our deep dive discussions for a long time. I can't remember when we finally did it. And they don't, by the way, guys, one video generates like $2. So, you know, we're not retired anytime soon, but, yeah, it's nothing. But I remember there was like a point where we were so wary to do it because we just didn't want people to feel like we were taking advantage of them. And I call it like a very awkward line because for all the work Marisha was putting in, she probably could have done a Patreon, and probably Marisha Reagan she probably could have done a Patreon and probably deserved to have a Patreon. But
yeah,
I mean, anyway,
bro. Again, like, I know how long that, like, the video like that would take, not to mention the forethought of knowing, like, all the work that goes into it before you actually sit down to edit it. Like, yeah, it blows my mind that she was doing that much work for free.
Yeah. It's sad. Support your creators, guys, for real. I have a, you know what's funny is I have a Patreon that I subscribe to. It's a guy who does a video game podcast. I have literally never listened to a podcast episode ever.
What?
Never listened to one. But I just
How did
wanted
you find out about him?
he either reached out or we like connected on Reddit or something, but he was starting a podcast and knew I had a podcast and was like just very earnest, was like, you know, this is gonna make me sound like so like ego stroking. But I just resonated with this guy's a creator and just really wants to create.
Yeah.
And so it was like, yeah,
You just wanted to help him out.
I just wanted to help, you know?
Yeah.
And by the way, I have a Patreon. I'm not going to share it because I don't want to promote it. But I was looking, bro, you've paid like $250 to my Patreon. I don't know if you know that, but I saw that yesterday. So don't unsubscribe, Will, now that I've said that. But Will pays, now it kind of sounds silly, but Will has paid on my Patreon. I've paid, not Amazon Prime, like actual Prime subscription to Will's Twitch channel. Our buddy Nate pays on my Patreon. Chris pays on my Patreon. And so I think the beauty of all of that is you're supporting. You're saying, hey, you know what? None of us are going to retire. None of us are making any money, but I at least respect the work you're putting in enough to create that I want to promote. I want to help that. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I do wish she had a Patreon. Same thing with Crit Roll Stats, by the way. Easily could have had a Patreon.
Yes. Now, I don't know the nuance of that situation. I don't think any of those people are with the Omen Archive, but maybe some of them moved over. But yeah, like I think, you know, not in every case, I'm sure, but definitely in Crit Roll Stats and Marisha Raygun, I think they would have gotten enough support that it could have been their full-time job.
Yeah.
Now, Crit Roll Stats, I think, was like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
so maybe I'll just say that about Marisha Raygun, but I feel like they could have gotten enough to keep the doors open.
Oh, Crit Roll Stats did and does have a Patreon, Eric said. I didn't know that.
Actually, yeah, so. I did know that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I wonder.
Just forgot, though.
Maybe it's also just a combination of being exhausted. It really is a big time commitment. Will and
they had like a whole team, so like you probably would have needed a lot to like fund that whole thing as far as that was concerned.
Yeah. I think probably part of it wasn't scalable long term. Like the recaps are really good, but like the level of detail, like the little jokes even put in to the recaps, like that's a tall order long term for sure.
Yeah, and the fact that they like live tweeted it was crazy, because that means you have to have people like literally paying attention every second, you know. That's tall order.
That just reaffirms our point, though. I mean, someone has to deeply love Critical Role to do that. Anyway, so we spent a lot longer on this topic than I expected. But I'm really glad you brought that up. A couple other announcements. We have a Critical Role live show in LA.
We go, man.
On June 10th,
15th, I think.
15th. Yeah. I had this like thought, if I was a millionaire, to just like send you a plane ticket, be like, what are you doing June 15th?
Send a PJ.
Yeah.
I'll pick me up.
Yeah. That one's going to be an interesting one because Brennan Lee Mulligan is there. And Sam Riegel is there. So I'm like, what's transpiring between now and then, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sam will be back before that, but like, there's no way they're going to do a live show at the Greek Theater and Sam's not going to participate. So he will definitely be introduced by then, if not before.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if you said it or somebody else in the Discord said it, but that Brennan could be a guest. And I think absolutely.
I'm all about it. Yeah.
Missed opportunity. If not, if he's literally there and like already being the MC.
Yeah.
I think he will be.
It's been a while since we've talked about this, but I just really admire like the relationship that Dimension 20 and Critical Role have together.
Yes, me too, man.
Like we haven't brought this up. Just said this. We haven't brought this up in a while, but it could have very easily have been we're competitors, you know. But I love like how it's just like, hey, this is good for D&D, you know. So it's fun it's fun seeing them on both each other's shows.
This is kind of random, and it's probably not true. It's just my anecdotal experience. But I feel like there's been a lot more of that, and I can't say this word, camaraderie.
Yeah, you said it
I
right.
got it. That like
it's a very
I feel
basic
like when
word,
we were,
so I was expecting something else there. So
when we were younger, I feel like there were a lot more rivalries, regardless of genre or space, between like the titans of those spaces. But these days, I feel like there's a lot more where like it's like, hey, we actually do better when we support each other, type of thing. And not that like that's why they're doing it, but like I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of been like a generational shift in my experience.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right, because I was at an event. I was at a business event Friday last week, and there were two people from the same industry who were competitors. And I just got to talking to both of them, and they were like, yeah, we love passing referrals to each other. But one of them had been in the industry for like 30 years. And she was like, yeah, when I was younger, like you just knew not to talk to your competition. You didn't associate with them like whatsoever. It's like a totally different ball game. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, I'm sure there's some avenues where it still exists that way, but I, like for stuff like a Critical Role D20, where like there's no real reason for them to have animosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think everybody benefits from it, and it's cool just to have that community.
Legends of Vox Machina in the fall, which is exciting. Did you notice how CR is pushing LVM instead of LOVM?
No, I hadn't really ever thought about that.
I don't know why I thought about it. I just did, though.
It's a bit cleaner.
It is, yeah. Travis posted LVM, and so did their VP of marketing, or EVP of marketing, did the same thing. So I was like, okay, they really like LVM, apparently. So
interesting.
We got a Daggerheart update, version 1.4. I don't know any of the changes, but I'd be keen for those of you who've been following Daggerheart to let us know, like, what kinds of adjustments are we seeing? Are there any big changes that have been happening either in this version or the one before it? Keeping us posted on that would be good to know as well. So,
yeah, I still haven't played it at all. I'd like to dive in.
Yeah, I was looking at it I'm doing the Star Wars one shot 2 weeks from today, and I need to figure out system and like what to do with all that, especially if there's people at the table who've never played D&D. So
I think you should just do 5e for your sake.
You think so? That's probably,
especially if the other people are like novices, like it's not going to make a difference to them.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Save yourself having to learn a new system.
True. And then a piece of game news I saw trending on Reddit today, that Cyberpunk 2077 has achieved, I think, overwhelmingly positive reviews, like in the last certain amount of time, 3 months, 6 months, I don't know.
Interesting.
Very interesting, considering this was a game that was panned for not just its bugs and things that were broken, but also for I'm gonna use a word now, also obfuscating, hiding its bad performance from reviewers in order to sell more copies. But seems like it's kind of a No Man's Sky situation. Seems like people are really liking it. So
I've been meaning to check it out for a long time now, so it's on my list. But yeah, I've only heard good things about it. Especially there's like some really big like update.
Yeah,
recently, like in the last 4 or 5 months, I think that
Phantom Liberty, I think.
Yeah, so I wouldn't know, but that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, speaking of games, Hades 2 early access came out, which I haven't gotten a chance to dive in yet, but I am very excited. That I don't know how many of y'all played Hades, but it is absolutely fantastic. You played it, right?
Oh yeah, I played it.
Yeah, and you beat it too, because I was surprised. In context, we were talking about this in one of our group chats earlier with another one of our buddies, and I was surprised he never really played it. Really, he didn't beat it.
It's a little bit of a, the guy does things his own way. He also didn't like BioShock Infinite, so
yeah,
or God of War, which he says today he
didn't like God of War.
He says today he did always like it, but I remember when we were first playing it, I was like,
Well, Like the new God of War?
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway,
He has some takes sometimes.
yeah. Well, as we're wrapping up today, we have a question in our Pixelbits live stream channel. This is from Larissa. What D&D class would you assign to the following cartoon characters? I don't know if we're going to get to all of these, but let's start with the most appropriate one, Piccolo. What class would Piccolo be in D&D?
My gut instinct was monk.
I was thinking the exact same thing. So we agree. We're on the same page. Yeah. Okay. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, man.
Shaggy's
I don't know why,
like,
but
what do you say?
I don't know why, but Paladin.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got his ideals that he sticks to. You know.
Yeah. Maybe Ranger and Scooby is his pet.
I think
or whatever companion.
I think Warlock and Scooby's like his familiar. You know.
Okay.
So what's like the food they love? They love
Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks. Yeah. Okay. That's like I don't know why I asked where I was going with that, but the Tasmanian Devil. I think that's
Druid. I could see that. Taz.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Totally. Absolutely barbarian. And finally, Miss Piggy.
Warlock.
Nice. I love it. I like Warlock. That's good. All right. Well, anything else top of mind for you?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all tuning in today. That's going to do it for our live stream. We'll be back next week with some Critical Role and Worlds Beyond chatter. And then we'll have our stream again next Friday at the same time. So, well, at 1 o'clock instead of 1:15. But anyhow, we appreciate you all.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
See ya.
Goodbye.